Hi, welcome to Prime Recap. After being captured by raptors to be served as dinner, a young tarbosaurus will have to face the greatest of all dinosaurs. Today we'll recap the story of the 2017 movie, Dino King: Journey to Fire Mountain. In a valley surrounded by mountains lives a small family of tarbosaurus. Junior is still just an infant and is learning to hunt, but is eventually pursued by his prey. While running away, the young dinosaur stumbles and falls to the ground. That could be the end of him if not for his father, Speckles, who shows up to save him. After defeating the enemy, the creature gives his son a hard lecture for running away and says that Junior is the shame of the family. Speckles wishes to train his only son to be the future king of those lands, which he has conquered all by himself. They spot a group of protoceratops drinking water on the banks of a river and both set an ambush. While Speckles runs after the hunt, Junior positions himself to surround it. However, when the protoceratops approach, he becomes afraid and ends up being thrown into the water. Startled, the little dinosaur cries out for help and his father rushes to save him. However, as he advances into the river, Speckles realizes that the tide is low and all Junior has to do is stand up to avoid drowning. Disappointed, Speckles leaves and the infant goes to hide inside the trunk of a tree. Junior is ashamed and sad that he cannot live up to his father's expectations. As he cries, he remembers the day he lost his mother. When he was younger, he went into the ocean for a swim and ended up being swept away by the tide. Without realizing it, Junior was washed out to sea and began to drown, so his mother jumped in to save him. Fortunately, she was able to get her son safely to the beach, but she could not survive. Since then, every day, Junior misses her and Speckles misses her even more, because he doesn't know how to raise his son alone. The dinosaur goes to find his youngster and they spot a meteor falling to Earth. Junior is terrified by the explosion and Speckles says that soon they will need to look for a new place to live. The fearful dinosaur says he wishes he could live there forever, but his father assures him that if he does, he will be safe, but will miss out on all the good things life has to offer. Finally, Tarbosaurus states that no matter what happens, he will always be there to protect him. The next morning, Junior wakes up determined to make his father proud and peeks at a prey while the animal is drinking water. Junior attacks him, but the Pachycephalosaurus manages to dodge and runs away from his small predator. Then a group of raptors approaches and captures him. Just then, Junior starts screaming for his father and Speckles runs to help his son. Seeing that giant beast approaching, the raptors run away with Junior. The Tarbosaurus tries to catch up with them, however, the raptors are faster and more agile, so they can advance more quickly. Two of them come back to attack Speckles as they cross a bridge and the dinosaur ends up falling into the river. When he hits the water, he faints, but wakes up quickly, because he needs to fulfill the mission of saving his son. However, by the time Speckles finally makes it to the riverbank, the raptors have already disappeared with Junior. The animal tries to follow the scent of his son and the footprints of the enemies, but soon it starts to rain and all of Junior's tracks are erased. When he wakes up, the young Tarbosaurus finds himself in a strange place, surrounded by rocks. Eyes full of hate are watching him from within the caves, and Junior cannot disguise his fear. Suddenly, he is surrounded by dozens of cubs of all species, and Slash approaches in order to intimidate him further. The creature threatens the rookie with its claws, but Blue appears to defend him. She throws the Therizinosaurus away and orders him to leave the young dinosaur alone. Then Blade approaches and asks them to stop fighting. Just then, the raptors appear, and the dinosaurs dissipates. Blue pushes Junior to hide, but all the cubs end up being surrounded before entering the caves. Only Blade and Slash manage to hide. The trio chooses a few infants to be taken to dinner and orders them to follow them. When the raptors leave, Blue reveals that all those who were taken have never returned. Meanwhile, Speckles walks through the desert in search of his son. However, he is overcome by thirst and faints. Just then, Sai appears. Although he can't see very well, the Ankylosaurus has one of the best senses of smell among dinosaurs. Upon smelling Speckles, the animal perceives something familiar and believes that Tarbosaurus is its enemy. Sai runs to attack him, but stumbles on the way and falls to the ground. Helpless and unable to get up, he believes that this will be the end for him, but is surprised to discover that the large predator is not his enemy. Speckles asks the reason for the Ankylosaurus attack and Sai states that he kidnapped her best friend, Daisy. Sai met her when they were still babies. And since then they have never been apart, until the day she was taken by a group of raptors and he never saw her again. Now that he is very close to Speckles, Sai realizes that, although he smells similar to the dinosaurs that took his friend, he was not part of the group that captured Daisy. Upon hearing this, the tarbosaurus realizes that Sai is referring to the same group of raptors that took his son and asks for his help in tracking them down. This way, the Ankylosaurus will be able to avenge his friend. Since he managed to survive his first day in that terrible place, Junior looks for a cave to hide in, but no one is willing to receive the newcomer. He then spots a cave that is uninhabited and full of filth. Dusty is the only one living there and uses this strategy to survive, since the raptors will never seek their prey in that disgusting place. When Blue approaches, little Triceratops hides. She asks what Junior is doing near that mountain of waste, and the young dinosaur says he just needs to hide until his father shows up to get him. On the way to the mountain of fire, Speckles and Sai enter an abyss. Suddenly, the Ankylosaurus is surprised by a giant scorpion that uses its poisonous tail to stab him. Luckily, the animal does not suffer any damage due to its spiky armor, but the same is not true for Tarbosaurus. He was almost across the abyss when he hears the cries of his new friend and goes back to save him. After eliminating one of the scorpions, they run through the valley and end up being surrounded. While fighting the giant monsters, Speckles gets a sting on his leg and, even though he is wounded, he goes after his enemy. The creature uses its powerful teeth to tear off the scorpion's legs and manages to eliminate it. When they finally manage to get out of that place, Speckles falls to the ground. Due to the wound on his leg, he can barely walk. With each minute, the poison spreads to other parts of his body, but the beast refuses to give up the mission to rescue his son. Sai asks his friend to stop and rest for a while, but he believes that this will only serve to slow him down. The duo walks for several more minutes without water and food until Speckles faints. At that moment, the sand begins to sink and they fall into a hole in the ground. Sai faints from the fall, and when he regains consciousness, he smells a monster approaching. The creature runs towards him, however, Speckles stands up to defend him. During the fight, the big guy is knocked down and Fang asks why she was attacked. She used some healing herbs to neutralize the poison and save Speckles' life. Since the animal was very weak, Fang intended to serve Sai as dinner. However, Speckles claims that the Ankylosaurus is his friend, and Fang decides to leave him alone. She tells him that she is searching for her daughter, who was taken by raptors 2 weeks ago. In the prison, the raptors distribute food to the cubs, because they need to be healthy when their turn comes to be devoured. Dusty is the most scrawny of them all and ends up having her food stolen by a pterosaur that shows up there every day looking for food. Weak and hungry, the Triceratops returns to her stinking cave and, to her surprise, Junior appears. He fetched food for his friend and they were both able to eat together. Then Blue joins them and they all get to enjoy that meal next to a mountain of waste. After they eat, Blue teaches her new friends to throw stones with their tails, so that they can attack their enemies. Dusty makes her first attempt, but is unsuccessful. Junior tries soon after, but accidentally hits his tail on a giant rock and ends up getting hurt. Suddenly, one of the raptors appears beside them and orders Dusty to follow him. Blue tries to stop her friend from being taken, but Blade pulls her back, as there is nothing that can be done. That night, Junior dreams of the day he was drowning and crying out for help from his mother. However, in his dream, he sees Dusty and she is crying out for help from her friend. That day, when Desunga shows up to steal the food, Junior catches him and promises to give all his food to him in exchange for information. The animal tells them that behind those rocks there is a mountain of fire, and inside it a demonic beast has just awakened. For now, the creature can't get out of there, but as the fire gets stronger, so does the beast. The raptors are mere servants who bring food to the monster's 3 children, who are as grotesque as he is. Upon hearing this, Junior feels guilty for not having saved his friend and joins the other ones in hatching an escape plan. Slash is afraid to face the raptors to escape and threatens to attack Junior after being called a coward. However, Blade manages to stop him and orders him to leave the rookie alone. After walking for several hours in the middle of the desert, the trio finally finds a lake and can regain their strength to continue the journey. While drinking water, they spot a family of Brachiosaurus suffering an attack. A large group of Carnotaurus is stealing their eggs. Hearing the desperate cries of those mothers, Fang decides to help and attacks the predators. After retrieving the egg, Speckles returns it to the poor mother, who feels very grateful. The Carnotaurus then surround Fang and manage to knock her down, but Speckles appears in time to save her friend and chase the dinosaurs away. Sai also enters the fray and uses his powerful tail to knock them out. When they realize they are outnumbered, the Carnotaurus decide to flee and the trio can contemplate the birth of the Brachiosaurus baby. Minutes later, they continue their long journey while Junior devises his escape plan. He notes that there are always 3 guards blocking the exit, and Blade decides to share a strategy that he says is foolproof. That night, they wait for a signal from Dasunga, who, after receiving his payment, informs them that one of the guards is sleeping. Then, Junior attracts the attention of the second guard and is pursued. Before his friend is captured, Blue hits a rock on the raptor's head and the animal faints. Next, Blade fires his second shot, and Junior serves as bait to lure the last guard. This time, Blue misses and his friend is about to be devoured. However, Blade quickly climbs the mountains and takes down the raptor. Minutes later, Blue catches up with them and the 3 make their way out of that prison together. What they did not imagine was that there would be 3 other guards waiting outside. They were betrayed by Slash, who revealed to his enemies the whole escape plan of the infants. However, this is not enough to stop them. Even surrounded, the youngsters keep trying to escape and run away through the craters. Seeing the raptors approaching, Blade hides while his friends continue running. Soon after, the 2 dinosaurs come across a dead end with lava and are surrounded. One of the predators asks where the 3rd fugitive is, and Junior refuses to reveal his friend's location, even though his life is in danger. They are sent to a dungeon, and are next in line for dinner. The next morning, Sai realizes through his sense of smell that he is very close to the raptor's hiding place. The trio hears the cry for help from a pterosaur, which was being punished for helping the cubs escape. Sai uses his body as bait to lure them in, and Dasunga takes advantage of it to escape. The predators chase the Ankylosaurus and manage to surround it. However, when they least expect it, the tarbosaurs show up and capture a raptor. After interrogating him, Speckles discovers the location of the prison and allows Sai to decide the animal's fate. Finally, the Ankylosaurus is able to avenge his friend, Daisy, and uses his tail to push the raptor over the cliff. As the trio progresses down the canyon, the tremors caused by the volcano increase. They try to dodge the stones, but their path is blocked. Fang and Speckle try to push the rocks away, but it doesn't move. Suddenly a group of Brachiosaurus approach and use their giant paws to destroy the rocks, clearing the passage. This is just an act of gratitude, since the trio helped them save their eggs a few days earlier. Now, the next challenge they will face is to get rid of the dozens of raptors that are waiting on the other side. The tarbosaurus uses its sharp teeth to grab the necks of its opponents and hurl them away, while Sai attacks the raptors with his tail. Seeing that the exit was clear of guards, Blade runs to the prison to warn the other ones, and then goes to save his friends. As the young dinosaurs flee, the earthquake causes the rocks to open up and many end up being left behind. Fang and Speckles shout their sons' names, but they are going another way. The plan is to escape across the river and into the cave to look for Dusty. However, Slash manages to catch up with them. Blade orders his friends to continue and promises that he will soon catch up with them. What he didn't expect was that Slash would be accompanied by 2 raptors. Blade manages to knock out one of the enemies, who clings to Slash's tail in an attempt to hold on. As a result, they both fall into the lava pool and the traitor uses his claws to hold onto the rock. Now only a raptor remains. The animal manages to immobilize Blade and intends to devour him, but Blue and Junior return to help their friend. They attack the predator and manage to knock it down. However, the animal clings to its partner's tail. Slash can't hold all that weight and his claw breaks free from the rock, causing everyone to fall into the lava. With the way clear, they continue their mission towards the river. Speckles spots them among the ashes and calls his friends to follow them. When he is confronted by the current, Junior is paralyzed, but he remembers his father's words and decides that he will no longer be a coward. Despite the fear, the dinosaurs jump into the water and dive under the rock to reach the cave. While underwater, Blue loses her breath and can't swim, so Junior has to help her. Working as a team, the three arrive at their destination and walk towards the light. Suddenly, they spot several dinosaur skeletons scattered on the ground and hear a creature approaching. The youngsters are relieved to find out that is Dusty, who has been hiding for all this time and has therefore managed to survive. Then three large monsters approach and Dusty informs them that those are the mutant babies. The giant tadpoles begin to chase the young, but their parents arrive just in time to save them. Blue feels extremely happy to see her mother, and Speckles watches Junior running away from that monster. The tarbosaurus runs to attack the creature, and then lectures his son. According to him, Junior should face those monsters instead of running away. Upon hearing this, Junior leaves, because he can no longer stand to hear his father calling him a coward. Then, Blue approaches Speckles and reveals that Junior went there to save Dusty, so he doesn't deserve to be called a coward. Just then, a giant monster approaches and starts chasing the small group. Sai had been left behind, but soon finds his friends again and has to flee with them. To escape that beast, they hide in a crack, but Speckles wishes to come out to look for his son. Fang and Sai try to hold him back, and Dusty realizes that the monster is leaving. Speckles then takes the opportunity to come out of hiding and spots Junior trying to distract the creature so that his father and his friends can escape. Immediately, Tarbosaurus runs to help him and Fang goes after him. Sai has the mission to get the infants to safety, but they decide to go and help their friend. Speckles and Fang attack the creature and Junior must escape from the monsters. At this point, Blue and Blade show up to save him and take down the baby monsters by throwing rocks at them. Seeing their parents being slaughtered, the trio band together to attract the mutants' attention and are pursued. An earthquake causes the mountain to begin to crumble and the monster is buried under rocks. In his last attack, the beast throws Junior away and the dinosaur falls to the ground after colliding with a rock. Seeing his unconscious son, Speckles becomes desperate. He tries to wake him up and soon begins to think that the young dinosaur is dead. Tarbosaurus asks forgiveness for being so hard on his son and begs him to wake up. Meanwhile, the lava from the volcano is approaching and the dinosaurs have nowhere else to go. Junior's friends gather around him and try to wake him up, then Dusty realizes that he is still breathing. When Junior wakes up, his father congratulates him on his courage and says he is very proud of him. Now everyone can run away from that place, but they soon discover that the exit has been covered by rocks. So the group joins forces to try to knock down that wall, but fails in their mission. To make matters worse, the monstrous creature rises and its body is covered in lava. Seeing the demon approaching, Speckles has an idea and orders everyone to stay away. The animal uses its body as bait to attract the mutant and jumps away just as it is about to be devoured. In this way, the creature opens a hole in the stone wall, which serves as a passage so that everyone can escape. Minutes later, when they are well away from the volcano, they can breathe a sigh of relief that they have all survived. At that moment, Sai says goodbye to his friends to return to the members of his kind. Then Speckles thanks him for all his help and states that he could not have found his son without him. Finally, the infants are free again and run around the lawn as they